Hey girl, yes, you. You are seen, you are loved, and you were made for more. Created especially for teen girls, chart-topping Christian artist Ann Wilson invites you to her 40-day devotional, Hey Girl, through honest stories, scripture, and journal prompts. Ann talks about real struggles, comparison, insecurity, doubt, and faith, reminding you that God is always near and fighting for you. Hey Girl, from K-Love Books. Get your copy today at klove.com/books.
Welcome to another edition of your favorite Medicare podcast, Medicare Moments, with the one and only Toni King. Hi, Toni King.
How are you doing, Jim? And I am not just the one and only from Medicare. I am Miss Medicare. I am the one that's explaining what's going on with Medicare, and I'm not hiding what's all happening, because big things are happening in 2026, right?
Lots of things are happening in 2026. In fact, the title of this episode of Medicare Moments is 2026 Medicare Deductibles and Premiums Are Released. And I know you're going to explain it, but I think it's fair and accurate to tell our listeners that you and I have had many conversations since September. You know, they all center around the cost and the changing cost and how that's going to impact individuals.
It does impact individuals, especially impacts those that are with Medicare Advantage plans and those that have original Medicare. A lot of companies, their retirees are going with Advantage plans, and people need to know what's really going on with all of that. So there's different rules as far as Medicare is concerned.
And we're going to talk about that today on this edition of Medicare Moments with Toni King. And Toni, today you've got an email from Sugar Land, Texas, right in your backyard. It says, hello, Toni. In the new Medicare and You handbook that I received about a month ago, I cannot find what the 2026 Medicare costs and premiums will be. I would like to know this information because I've been diagnosed with a heart condition and will need to undergo heart surgery next year. I've looked online and cannot find the costs there either. Do you have any idea what the 2026 Medicare costs will be? Carol from over in Sugar Land, Texas. What do you have to say to Carol, then?
Well, all I can say is that people need to realize that these Medicare and You handbooks are printed, or they start printing them as of May. They don't even have all the cost and all the deductibles and the copays and everything designed yet. When they did them for 2026, when they did them last May, they had just done all the prescription drug plans, and they had those pretty much designed, but they did not have everything finalized. So people need to realize that when they get their Medicare and You handbook in October, it's that handbook has all that previous year's information. There's nothing in that handbook for 2026. It was all for 2025 when you received it in October.
So
kind of confusing.
It is kind of confusing. It kind of gives you a basis as about Medicare in general and where the program is. But it doesn't answer and doesn't help someone who's trying to budget their monthly costs when you get into 2026. And when do they usually release that information, Toni?
They usually release what the costs are in November.
Okay.
So the cost for 2026 was released just 6-8 weeks ago. Okay,
so we are going to go over those costs in just a moment. When we take a break, you're listening to Medicare Moments with your host, Toni King, and we'll be back right after this important message.
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to Ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
Welcome back to Medicare Moments with your host, author Toni King. And Toni, it's really great to have you as we record this in this brand new year of 2026. There's been changes made to Medicare. Every year there are changes made to Medicare. And we're talking about costs. So let's start where it all begins in Part A. How about that?
That's right. And you were asking me a few minutes ago when they released the cost. They didn't release everything until Friday, November the 14th. That's halfway through November. That was almost at Thanksgiving is when they released what the 2026 Medicare costs are. And everything has gone up
since then. Yeah,
then.
Since last year. And the thing is that you know and I know that you release something in the middle of November. We're looking at Thanksgiving holiday. We're looking at Christmas holiday and New Year holiday. And people, it's really hard to focus on everything, including something as important as this. And this really is important.
It was very important this year. And November the 14th is in the middle of Medicare's open enrollment time, when you can change your prescription drug plan or change your Medicare Advantage plan. So a lot of people miss seeing that. And what I'm seeing is that, you got to realize that the cost of Medicare, if people want to really realize it, the cost of Medicare when it got started July 30th, 1965, was $40 once a year, and the premium for Part B was $3. So we've come a long way. Now Part A has a $1,736 maximum out of pocket, not once a year, but 6 times. Every 60 days, this thing recycles itself and starts over again. So people need to realize that whatever 6 times 1,736 is, that's technically you're out of pocket every 60 days.
Every 60 days.
Every 60 days, it starts all over again, the $1,736. People generally, when they go in the hospital, when you have outpatient surgery or whatever, you are not in the hospital. You're as an outpatient. So inpatient is when you have surgery and you're there in a bed, you have a heart attack, you have a stroke, you're having serious cancer issues, and you're at a inpatient hospital stay. And you have to have the inpatient hospital stay to get skilled nursing.
So that's going to cost you.
Right.
So that's Medicare Part A, and they're the cost for 2026. What happens over on Part B?
Well, on Part B, for 2025, the deductible was $257. That's once a year. Okay, so you meet your deductible for 2025, it was $257. For 2026, it's going to be $283.
Now, what does Part B address?
Part B is your lifeline. Part B is everything. That's your outpatient surgery, that's your MRI, your CAT scans, your sonograms, everything that's done outpatient. It's going to the doctor doing surgery. Your Part B is everything. That is what's most important for the person.
And then what happens after you meet your deductible?
Well, after you meet your deductible, then Medicare picks up 80% and you pay 20%, and there's no stop loss. If you don't have a Medicare supplement to pick up that out of pocket, and all you have is your red, white, and blue Medicare card, what is 20% of $1 million?
Right.
That's what your out-of-pocket is. That's why it's so important to get a Medicare supplement, or you can get a Medicare Advantage plan. If you get a Medicare Advantage plan, that's Part C of Medicare, and you have to go by their rules with the HMOs or the PPOs. That's why we do the consultations for people and help them to understand the Medicare. Medicare is nothing but rules, and you have to abide by their rules.
Let's help our listeners. If someone right now is struggling with something like this and they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way that you recommend they get in touch?
One way is to email me, and that's info, I-N-F-O, at TONISAYS.com. And email me your question. Or you can give us a call at 832-519-8664.
Right. So Toni's available for you 24/7. You can call her. You wake up in the middle of the night with a question, 832-519-8664. And someone will get back to you, leave a message, and she will, or info at tonisays.com. That's TONISAYS.com. So we're talking about Medicare Part B, and Toni, we're talking about the premium. So what are the premium costs for 2026?
Well, the average premium that most people are going to pay is $202.90. That's for people that are not making more than $109,000 as an individual, or $218,000 as a couple. If you're making more, then you pay more. I'm still working, so I have to pay more. And we can email people what the costs are, or you can go on the Social Security website to find what the costs are. There's 3 family members to Medicare. There's the IRS, Social Security, and Medicare. And the IRS tells Social Security what your income was, and Social Security will charge you that amount, and they send you the little statement or the bill as to what you have to pay. So Medicare doesn't do all this. The only thing Medicare will do is file your claim.
Okay, but here's a question for you. What if someone has a very different reduced income one year because they left to go on to Medicare and they're not working anymore? Is there a way to adjust that and go back and say, hey, you know, Medicare, you're looking at old income information. I'm making less now.
Right. And we've talked about that. We've done podcasts on that. And that's a whole different situation. So if your income has gone down because you're no longer working, then there are forms that you can file. Just email me and we'll go through it. But right now we're just talking about the basics of Medicare.
Okay. Part D is next. Medicare Part D for 2026. What are our listeners going to encounter for their prescription drug plan, Medicare Part D?
This is what's so important, is that everyone needs to realize that from October 15th through December 7th is when you can make a change to your prescription drug plan. If you never changed your plan last year and now you're finding out that your prescriptions aren't covered, or your cost has just gone up astronomically, you got to wait till October 15th of this year, 2026, to make the change. And it was very important this year. I saved some people just $2,000 in premium prescription drug plan, what your Part D prescription drug plan was.
Okay, so you were able to work with people and make sure that lining up in 2026, their prescription drug plan gave them the most affordable path throughout the next 12 months.
Correct.
Okay. Well,
Definitely. Because I
important.
saw that some of the plans, some people have never changed their plan since I got on Medicare.
So what's the maximum out of pocket for calendar year 2026?
The maximum out of pocket, you got a deductible of $615. And once you meet that deductible, then Medicare's maximum out of pocket is $2,100.
Okay.
That's if you have a serious prescription drug cost. Okay. I'm on generic drugs. Generally, when you have generic drugs, you're not going to have to meet that deductible. I've never had to meet a deductible, except for whenever I went and maybe I had to order some kind of an expensive, I was going to do a colonoscopy and I had to go get the whatever it was for the colonoscopy, and that costs more. Or I was doing allergy meds and I had to get the little packet to where if I was getting a reaction to the allergy med, I could take something to keep me from having that. And that was $800 for that prescription. So I met my deductible at that time. It can be awful confusing, but right now, most people that are just on generic drugs, depending on what it is in the zip code rated, whatever it is in your zip code is what you're going to end up paying. The plan I have is a zero premium, so I don't pay anything. And the deductible is $615 for this year.
Well, that's important. That's important for our listeners to know. So if you're in 90210 in California, you're going to have a different amount than we're going to have in the 770, 7737, whatever zip code.
Premium wise,
yeah, you're going to, and it's sensitive to that. We hope that this information has been helpful to you. And, as I mentioned before, Toni is an author and she has the Medicare Survival Guide Advanced Edition. And Toni, that can help some people when they're looking for information about Medicare Part D, for instance.
Oh, it's got all the information in there in regards to the basic information about Medicare, how to enroll. What do you do? What's your initial enrollment period? If you're coming off your company insurance, what to do? I do not have the cost in there because they change every year, but these rules don't change. In the workbook, we have the cost in there.
Well, we want to tell you, Toni's modest about this, but Toni's website is amazing. There's a lot of information on there, including a free download that you can get. If you're enrolling in Medicare for the first time, it's free. You can go to Toni Says, TONISAYS, ToniSays.com. Many of you do. We know thousands of people go there on a monthly basis. And you can look for the free offer from Toni and her crew, right? Toni, you can download a free little brochure, correct?
And you can get some little videos that'll give you some information in regards to everything, but people need to realize that now, if you have a serious prescription, you're taking Stelara, you're on Ozempic, you're doing Mounjaro, you've got Xarelto, the expensive medicine, that your maximum out of pocket will be $2,100. You're not going to be spending the $2,100. It's going to be the drug company that you enroll in. It's going to be the pharmaceutical company. And it's Medicare. All three of them blend together with you with what the out-of-pocket is. And once it hits $2,100, then you don't pay anymore, but you've got to still keep paying the premium if you've got a premium for that Part D plan.
Well, it's like Toni always says, what you don't know will hurt you when it comes to Medicare. And Toni encourages you to reach out, 832-519-8664. You can also sign up on Toni's website for the Toni Says newsletter, which is an amazing newsletter, Toni. I look forward to it. And everything is available at TONISAYS.com. It's a great website. We encourage you to stop by. You can send Toni an email, info@tonisays.com. She looks forward to hearing from you. So Toni, back to you.
Yeah, and I got a great question today because somebody's aunt is on Medicaid with Medicare, and she's got to go into a skilled nursing facility, and they can't get her in the facility they want to get her in because she's got a Medicare HMO, Medicare Advantage plan. Income-wise, she's not going to be able to change to a Medicare supplement because she can't answer the health questions, and she doesn't have the money to pay for it. So there's a lot more to all this than just listening to what's on TV and trying to make changes when you get sold something and then you find out it's going to cost you too much.
And that's why Tony's here, to help make your Medicare life the best Medicare life, tailored around your particular medical need. Correct, Toni?
Correct. That's how I got started. Well, thanks, Jim. And we're going to have a great 2026. Okay? I will talk to you later.
Attention seniors. Are you looking for a community that offers incredible benefits and stands up for your values? Look no further than AMAC. With an AMAC membership, you'll enjoy exclusive discounts on insurance, travel, dining, and shopping. Stay informed with 6 issues a year of our award-winning AMAC magazine, delivering trusted news and valuable insights. But that's not all. AMAC is committed to defending America's future by directly bringing the voices of our more than 2 million members to our elected officials. Join a community that cares about your needs and your values. For a limited time, we're offering a 1-year membership for only $1. Yes, just $1 for a year of incredible benefits and advocacy. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and join AMAC today. Visit amac.us/join now. That's amac.us/join now.